Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, The Retired Guy. One thing I do like to do a lot is cooking. And when I first met my wife almost 40 years ago, I used to make this great macaroni, and I thought I'd do one today because today is our anniversary. 38 years, we're going pretty close to 40 years. So please join me as I do this wonderful macaroni. So the first thing will be very important. You need to have a lean ground beef to do the recipe I'm going to do here. So I like to use a non-stick pan, and I'm just going to cook this slowly until it's nice and brown, but you don't want to overdo it because it's going to continue cooking in the sauce afterwards. I hope you guys realize that these things are now recyclable. They used to not be, but they are now. Now, cooking should always be done while drinking a good quality red wine. So while this is cooking, I'll just cut this a little bit. I do like sharpening my knife pretty much every time I use them, just a bit. Keeps them nice and sharp. A yellow onion, the big one. Here we have compost. Goes in there. And then I want to dice it. Now my meat is almost ready. Being somewhat frozen, I kind of have to go slowly at it. There we go. Still a little bit red. That's what I want. I don't want any big chunks. I'm trying to break it up. Now the onions and the meat make a big difference. I think the rest of the vegetables, not so much. But the onions do. And so I'm putting half of them because I like to have some crunchy ones also. My macaroni. So I'm just going to cook it a little bit more with the onions in it. Like that. Already smells great. There we go. Make sure the onions cook a little bit, not too much. I like to use a big pot, thick bottom. This is a Lagostina. We've had this for years, and it's really good quality. So now I'm going to put my meat in here. Just because we have lean ground beef, there's not much fat, and that's exactly what I want. I don't like fat in my food. Notice I didn't put any oil or anything. I'd rather use a non-stick pan. This is a typical Tefal pan. So now this is just at the bottom there. It's not going to cook anymore for a little bit. Just while I do the rest. Now some of the other vegetables I like in there, of course, are green pepper, And for a bit of color, another pepper. This one's orange, there's red is nice too, yellow, whatever you have. Let's get rid of, obviously get rid of this. I'm just going to use half of this one. There's a bit of flavor to it, but it's mostly just color. Now we cut this in dice again, just like I did the onions. Cut it in dice, sort of. I like my macaroni to be somewhat crunchy. I don't want it to be like only sauce. So that's why I won't cook these very much. You know, I was doing that when I was 16 years old. But to be honest, I'm not a cook. I got lots of hobbies. Cooking is fun, but I have so many other hobbies that I don't do it very often, to be honest. But tonight's the night. Make a nice macaroni like I used to do when I was a teenager. So I'm gonna put this in the same frying pan that had the beef. Maybe just to brown the veggies a bit. Is there such a thing as browning veggies? But you know what I mean. Just give them a bit of a quick cook on fairly high. Now while this is cooking, I'm going to use 1, 2, and 3 garlic cloves. There you go. Now the way I learned how to cut these was to, first of all, take off the ends, which will result in being able to take off the skin. Just crushed them, right? That's how I learned how to do this. Let me know in the comments if that's how you do it. But it works very well like that. Of course, we want the garlic to be minced, not so much big pieces. We'll put that directly into the vegetable. So the veggies are browned pretty much like I want them to be right now. Awesome. Clean. Just throw that in the pot. This is nicely mixed. Now, one thing that people don't often use in macaroni is pepperoni. Now, I absolutely love pepperoni. They're so good. So I'm going to cut this in little chunks again. Pretty much the pieces in quarters. Once again, I'm going to put this in my pan and just brown it. just want it, remember the macaroni to be chunky, so I don't want it overcooked. That's going to go in my pot. So the next thing we need is tomatoes. I like to use whole tomatoes. What I like to do is just remove all the juice from here and use V8 instead, or something similar. And I like to keep the tomatoes whole so that they're chunky, if you want, in the sauce. So I'm just going to use a very normal opener. I like those because they get the whole cover off, and it's very straight. I like that. Now, one thing that people don't like, and I certainly don't, in my plate is the end here. So I try to cut that off. It'll just take maybe 2 minutes. You see how bad this one is? You get this in your plate. It's chunky, but it's not the type of chunky I'm looking for. So I just take it out. What do you guys think? Write in the comment. You guys keep this in here, or? That's what it looks like right now. Perfect blend of vegetables, different colors, and ground beef. So now we have to add the spices and, of course, the noodles. So let's get the water boiling to start with. Now, I'm one of those people, and my wife, we don't eat a lot of salt. So notice I'm not going to put salt in the sauce, but I will put a bit of salt in the water. It actually helps the noodles cook a little bit faster, but also I think it adds a little bit of taste to them. Now I'll be using this macaroni. There's so many different brands, obviously, but this one's really good. It's ready in 11 minutes. Al dente, which is what I want, being the crunchy theme of the macaroni. But because it's going to cook in the sauce for maybe at least half an hour, 45 minutes, I'm going to maybe do it only about 9 minutes. Okay. And this says 410 grams. Sometimes we're tempted to throw the whole thing in the pot, but this is too much. I don't think the macaroni should be noodles. I think it should be mostly meat, the vegetables, and some noodles. Like, it should be equal amount. This is too much for my recipe anyway. So you wait till you have a very strong boil. I don't put any oil or butter in there for macaroni noodles because I don't think it's needed. They don't stick to each other. So about half the box. There you go. From this point on, I use a different spoon, different utensils. I don't want to use the same ones that I used for cooking the beef. So from now on, I'm going to be using this one. Okay, nothing's sticking. It's all good. I'm going to put my timer to 9 minutes. There we go. So my favorite spices for that, some Italian spices. Of course, we need some pepper, basil, some parsley. This is garlic salt. I love garlic salt. Of course, this is the spicy chili, but we don't use a lot. Both my wife and I don't like spicy foods. And some celery salt. So we'll go with that. I don't have to rinse them because there's no butter and no oil. Just add them to the sauce. They are definitely al dente. That's what I want. Mix it up nicely. Okay, so we need a bit of juice here. Not too much. Just mix it up a little bit. Now, there we go. And that's my macaroni right there. Ooh. So that's awesome. We're just gonna let it go for maybe 15 minutes and it's gonna be ready to eat. Well, here's the result. We have this beautiful macaroni, the way I used to do it 40 years ago.
Still works.
Still works. A beautiful wife. It's our anniversary and we're having this fantastic wine here from my brother-in-law Steve, a 2017 Brunello di Montalcino. I hope I say that correct.
Montalcino.
This is really, really, really nice. So let's, yeah. I'm just gonna add a little bit of that. Oh, look at the color, my goodness. Quite nice. So this is our 38th anniversary. Very nice. Cheers, sweetie.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us. Until next time, please like, subscribe.
Bon appetit.
Always good.